Jack, tough one this afternoon. Sum up your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, I think really disappointing. I think we worked our way into the game in the first half. We went in 1-0 up, and we talked about trying to push on and get the second goal, and then we came out so passively in the second half. I think, no one wants to concede the goals that we conceded, and then make it very hard for us to get back into the game.
What was it like to play in? What was the pace of the game like? Was it a physical battle?
Yeah, but that's the championship. Every game is a physical battle. Every game you have to go and win it. Nothing's given to you in this league, so you can't go 1-0 up and feel like the game's won, and come out in the second half as if the game's already won, because we know this league and we know how hard it is. Any win, any 3 points in this league is so hard, and you can't take anything for granted.
Did it feel like a loss of concentration after the break? And if so, how do you go about fixing that?
Yes, like we didn't start the second half well. We know that, so we have to look at the video back, and we have to think about the reasons why we didn't. Because I felt like we were building our way into the game. The first half, maybe we started slow, but we came in at halftime 1-0 up, so we wanted to push on from there. And then, like I said, we started the second half so passively that we didn't give ourselves a chance.
How do you feel this group of players is gelling? Obviously, there's some work to do.
Yeah, of course. We've got a lot of players that are still learning the league. Even in first, second year, they're still learning. The teams are playing up against different physical styles, the different playing styles. But we don't want to use that as an excuse, because, I feel like the league's so open this year, and we've got a squad that should be, doing better than we are. So there's no excuses. It might take a little bit of time, but we want to, we don't really have time.
Who's leading the troops in there? Who's speaking after the game?
Yeah, of course, it's the ones that have been in this league for years. Even Kenny, when he's not involved, he's talking. Josh, Harry, but it has to come from everyone.
Obviously not the way you'd like to celebrate it, but a goal on your 100th appearance this afternoon, a milestone to be proud of nevertheless.
Yeah, of course. Proud to play 100 games for this club, but it's something that maybe reflect on a little bit later, rather than right now. The emotions of the game are still quite raw, but yeah, of course, I think I'll look back in the future, once this game's passed, and be proud of that.
Liam, tough one this afternoon. Give us your thoughts and feelings after that.
Yeah, hurt, angry, frustrated. Nowhere near good enough for what we expect and what we need, and we have to look at that. I think we can't keep talking around. Take opportunity and time, and it will get there. And we've shown bits and pieces. We have to be a lot better than what we showed today. It wasn't anywhere near good enough to what we expect.
What do you think Wrexham brought with them this afternoon that made life difficult?
Showed a bit of fight, showed a bit of purpose. I think that's where we lacked. I thought we were too passive. I thought, ultimately out of possession, we went far too passive for 15 minutes at the start of the second half, and ultimately threw away a 1-0 lead so easily. And that's on us. That's the annoying bit. And yeah, even with the ball, just showed a bit of purpose, played forward, ran forward, and for me, we didn't do that well enough. We didn't show enough purpose and take enough responsibility for me to try and go and win a game.
Felt like for their goals, perhaps they had a bit of space for a couple of them. Is that the lads getting caught out, or was that their creativity?
No, that's the passiveness I spoke about. I think it's quite clear, non-negotiable, that we get pressure on the ball in our half, and we didn't. And that's the frustrating bit. The manner of the goals we concede are far too easy. So we have to work at it. We have to reflect. We have to be hard on ourselves, because we want to change it. Last thing I want to do is come in here and have an interview and a negative tone. But at the same point, we have to be honest, and it wasn't good enough.
What's being said in the dressing room? You were in there for quite a while afterwards.
A few home truths. I think you have to stick together in these moments, but at the same point, we can't keep waiting forever. And I think we'll have to take responsibility, and that's the big bit. I think when the pressure increases a little bit in game at the minute, we go under too easy, and I think that's the big bit. We have to step up. We have to be braver. We have to relish that that pressure and go and deliver, go and perform. We can talk around everything, but ultimately, it's the second the whistle starts, who steps up, who's the one that's go and drag the team, to the direction that we want to go in. Who's going to be the leaders? Who's going to be the ones that step up and doesn't wait for somebody else to do it.
We've not had much luck here at home yet this season. What can you say to the City fans that were here today and will come in the future that this will improve?
Apologies for today. I'm probably tell right now I'm really annoyed with how it looked, but we have to stick together. I think that's the biggest bit. I think we've keep coming back to it. What does it look like in tough times? You have to stick together. You have to we have to get back to basics. For me, I think the like I said, being hard to beat, and there's different ways of doing that. But we have to really stick together and make sure that the basics in training this week are the highest level, and we can't keep talking around some good moments we've shown in training, because that counts for nothing when the game starts. So we have to train hard, we have to get back to basics, we have to be aggressive, we have to have real purpose in our play, and we have to make sure that we're ready for next weekend.
Do you feel like you've got the characters in your squad that can get you out of a tricky patch?
Yeah, I do, and we have to develop some of that. I think it's no secret. I've just spoken there. People have to adapt quickly to, whether it be the level, whether it be being championship football, whatever it is, we can't wait forever. I think each game an opportunity to pick up points is drifting by, and we can't keep saying let's wait and let's be patient. I think that's the biggest bit. We have to make sure that people step up now and be counted.